You stand and join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome to our June 15th City Council meeting. Matt, you're going to start us with a roll call.
Councilor Savage.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Demas.
Here.
Zadi.
Here.
Halter.
Here.
Patolo.
Here.
West.
Here.
Hickerson.
Here.
Mayor Acomo.
I am here. Councilor's first order of business, I would entertain a motion to approve the revised agenda before you here tonight.
So moved.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, councilors, next order of business, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the city council meeting June 1st, 2021, and the special city council meeting held June 7th, 2021.
Your Honor.
Councilman Patolo,
So moved.
we do have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this is going to move us on to the appointments section of our agenda. Councilors, we have three appointments. The first and second I'm going to do together, Mr. President and members of the council. I'm going to submit the names of Mary Manitos and Cale Cross to serve second term on the Board of Adjustments.
Hey, Council, you have before you the names Mary Manitos and Cale Cross to serve second term of the Board of Adjustment. Can I get a motion?
Mr. President,
Yes.
so moved.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
Demas.
Yes.
Zadi.
Yes.
Halter.
Yes.
Patolo.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Hickerson.
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
And Mayor, you have your appointment.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Mr. President, members of the council, I submit to you the name of R.J. Piper to serve fifth term on the Community Fine Arts Center Board.
And Council, you have before you the name R.J. Piper to serve fifth term Community Fine Arts Center Board. I'd like to thank R.J. for his continued service on that board. Can I get a motion?
So moved, Mr. President.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilor Demas.
Yes.
Zadi.
Yes.
Halter.
Yes.
Patolo.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Hickerson.
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
And Mayor, you have your appointment.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Next order of business is our presentation section, and we are honored to have Mr. Devon here. We have a public hearing for the consideration of the City of Rock Springs proposed commercial terminal modernization project update, which will take action under Resolution 2021-78. Devon?
Is that one not working?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Appreciate your time. So I want to do a quick update on the airport as a whole, just very briefly, and then also jump into the commercial terminal. Just give you an update. You do have an agenda item today to approve a Federal Aviation Administration grant. So I thought it was proper to go ahead and give you guys a quick update of where the project stands and where we're at with everything. So before I get to the terminal, though, just real quick, I want to update you on a couple things. The first item is I don't think that I've had an opportunity to really speak with all of you in this format to, number one, thank this council, Mayor, Matt, staff for the support on our fuel farm. If you remember, I don't know, probably a year and a half ago now, the city worked with the airport board on a lease arrangement with our lease of the airport for funding for the new fuel farm. That totaled $800,000 from the city, which our payments will begin in this next fiscal year. So we are budgeted for that and ready to move forward. But the picture at the top there is our old fuel farm, underground fuel farm. The picture at the bottom is our new fuel farm. nearly doubling our capacity on almost all the fuels to be able to not only hedge our purchases, but also have enough capacity for the growth that we're experiencing in our fuel sales. So I just want to, number one, thank you once again for your support. That project wrapped up in December, and we've been able to utilize it to our advantage for the most part, especially with jet fuel, in terms of how the markets have happened over the years. Sorry, I guess you guys can't see it behind me there. We've been able to purchase fuel and take advantage of the markets because of the extra storage capacity, which has helped us drive additional margin on the fuel that we sell. So it's already paying dividends, and appreciate that support. It's all my fault, I'll tell you, because I forgot to let Kristen know that I needed a computer tonight. So last minute they're trying to put it all together. So it is not Kristen's fault and not IT's fault. 100% mine. They tried to blame Kristen. I wanted to save her a little bit. All right, I'll keep going. I can share this with you all too afterwards if you can't see it, but you can see on the other two screens. The other thing I want to update you on, as of the end of last week, early this week, the new air tanker base is fully operational at the airport and is ready to respond to any necessary needs in the region. They have not brought aircraft in yet, but that is most likely going to be an imminent situation with what we're seeing with the weather and new fires popping up around the state. They already have retardant mixed, so they have retardant on site, and then they already have the mix ready to go in their mix tank. Really, it's a matter of, I've heard anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes from the time they get the call to when they could be active if there's aircraft on the ground already. So the nice thing, as you'll see in this next picture, this shows a map of Wyoming and the surrounding states of the air coverage that's provided by the air tanker bases. Prior to our air tanker base at the airport, Sweetwater County had very little coverage. Basically, only Wamsutter had a 70 nautical mile coverage. We now have the entire county covered within 70 nautical miles of air resources for wildland firefighting. So in terms of property, life safety, firefighter safety, all of those items, this is going to be a big improvement for Southwest Wyoming. They did shut down the Craig, the Vernal. Well, they didn't shut them down. They minimized their operations in Craig and Vernal, and they shut down Rawlins completely and consolidated the operations to Rock Springs. So we'll be responsible for pretty much all of Southwest Wyoming, northern Utah, and northwest Colorado. So pretty excited for what this will do for the airport in terms of the revenues. It's a 4-acre facility, nearly $3 million investment by BLM up at the airport. So pretty excited for that. Under construction right now as we speak, our new snow removal equipment building. This is a required building by the FAA. We have to keep all of our snow removal equipment stored in a heated and conditioned facility year-round. It's under construction now. It'll be wrapped up by the end of October. So we're pretty excited for that. I know some of you have seen it, either because you're a contractor or subcontractor on it, or if you've been up for a tour at the airport. So happy to show anybody else around that hasn't had an opportunity to come up and see the project. So, and we're wrapping up our winter season. Interesting fact is winter at the airport was our slowest and quietest and most depressing season for probably the most of the history of the airport. We have officially made winter now the busiest time of the year for the airport, and it surpasses our summer traffic and our summer revenues. So we now kind of feel a little bit like a resort community with shoulder seasons. It's pretty exciting to only have a few depressing months in the spring and the summer instead of having 6 to 9 months of depressing wintertime activity. But the traffic that's coming into the FBO, the fixed base operator, Sweetwater Aviation, that we own and operate, has just been fantastic. We did over 450 corporate jets this last winter in the hangar. Which is a significant increase over what we've seen in previous winters. We expect that to grow this next winter even more. We will be adding about 8,000 square foot of additional hangar space by this winter, so we'll have more capacity to take on more aircraft as well. So, and then we'll jump right into the terminal, and I'll keep it going. I know you got a long agenda. There's a couple slides I'm going to skip here because they're nothing new that you haven't already seen. I quite honestly don't have time to create new PowerPoints for every presentation, so I just work off of one of them and then work through it here. So we'll skip some of these that you all have already seen. And just give you an update of where we're at with the project overall. We are out to bid currently, with bids opening on Tuesday on the structural steel, non-structural steel, steel reinforcement, the rebar package for the building slab. We're also going out to bid next week on the building pad prep for the expansions on the building. And we will be moving into breaking ground next month on the project. So we will be starting construction in July and moving forward. The project initially was planned for 15 months based on supply issues we're seeing on commodities, construction commodities. We're thinking it'll be closer to an 18-month project. So that's where we're at with it. We are here today for your approval on a $4.9 million FAA grant. We'll be back in a matter of a couple weeks for your approval on another FAA grant that'll total a little bit north of $7.9 million. It's just a matter of days before that grant is announced, and then it goes through all of the paperwork process. So the funding is all coming together. As we talk about funding, since the last time we spoke, I believe, I can't remember if I've had an opportunity to update you all on the project cost. Initially, we had an $18.5 million budget due to cost inflation of materials, everything from steel to PVC to wood. The project has increased by a little over $1 million just in the last couple months. Fortunately, we've been able to cover that extra $1 million with grant funding, so there's been no additional cost to the city or the county or the airport board for that increase. So all in, we're at $19.51 million on the project. Just under $14 million will be coming from the FAA, $3 million from the Wyoming Business Council, just under 1.4 from WYDOT, and just around 1.3 local, and that's comprised of the $425,000 you all budgeted this, I believe it was this fiscal year, and the $850 from the county. They did $222,222 this fiscal year, and based on my conversations with them, they'll have the other $600,000 in their fiscal year 22 budget to cover their full $850, and the remaining $50,000 or so will come from restricted reserves that we have at the airport that are required to be used for projects like this by the FAA. So that's where we're at on the funding of the project. So exciting that even though we had $1 million increase, it's not going to cost anything more to the local communities. And we're going to be able to deliver a project without having to cut because of the commodity price increases. Jump into some pictures here, just show you some current situations. So the picture on the left is what our hold room looks like on a full flight, which we are getting closer and closer back to. Our load factors in May were over 80%. Our load factors in June, even though we doubled our flights, are over 80% as well. So we're seeing full flights going out of the airport. I flew out on June 2nd to the East Coast, and our flight was 100% sold out. It was booked solid. So the numbers are starting to come back. We are still down 36% compared to 2019. But in June, I expect that number to be under 30% down. So we're gradually coming back and getting back to our high water mark, if you will, in 2019. So picture on the right is the ticketing area. Remember that picture because I'm going to show you a rendering that's somewhat from the same angle. It's not exact, but pretty darn close. And then just a quick drone picture of the exterior of the building as it exists today. The project will include some realignment of the parking lot with a new exit, new entry. It'll segregate the rental car parking from regular parking. We'll have a new exit lane. The big canopy on the front of the building comes down completely, so there won't be that big monstrosity of a canopy on the front anymore. And you'll have open drive lanes with some smaller canopies that protect the sidewalk in the first lane up in front of the building. It'll provide a much better front door appearance to the building when it's all said and done. The floor plan, obviously up on the screen, you guys probably can't see it very well, but on the left side, the smaller addition, that will house airport administration offices, as well as the outbound baggage. So when you check a bag, that's where the airline will pick it up and take it to the airplane or to the aircraft. On the east side addition, that will hold the hold room. It'll hold new bathrooms that are much larger than what we have in our current hold room. It'll hold a micro market, so we'll have a micro market on both sides of the checkpoint when this project's done. It'll also have a pet relief room, which is required by Department of Transportation regulations for airports with 10,000 or more enplanements for ADA compliance. And we'll also have a mother's room or a lactation room. So we'll have that, and that's not required for our size airport. We'll have two of them, one in the hold room and one in the public area. It was one of those things that we felt was important to provide for our customers, and one day it's a good chance it'll be required anyway, so we took the opportunity to take care of it now instead of having to carve out space in the future when it might be more difficult. We'll have a true baggage claim with a baggage carousel, so we'll feel like a real airport, look like a real airport with that, so that'll be nice. We'll have room for additional rental car companies in the future. As demand dictates, we'll have space to add additional company there. And the checkpoint will be all new, expanded with all upgraded technology, including an AIT machine, the machine you walk through, hold your hands above your head. The best part of that, it reduces pat downs by about 60% for passengers. So it's going to really improve the customer experience going through the airport. And the other really exciting news is we've been placed on a short list of airports our size to get the first CT-80 baggage screening equipment. So airports our size aren't normally allowed to have automated screening equipment for baggage. It's all done by hand. But they're doing a demo program across the country with about 20 airports our size, and we made it onto that list after years of lobbying to be able to get that equipment. So when you check a bag at our airport, it'll go through the same process it does at a larger airport, and it will only get opened and searched by hand if it alarms as a suspicious bag. And that there's certain things that pop on that machine that say, hey, something doesn't look right here, you need to look at this bag. So really big improvements for our customers and our passengers there. Some quick renderings of the building, and I'll get to some bigger images of the three-dimensional, but these are just some elevations, building elevations. The colors, you're going to have charcoal grays, ash grays, a blue color, and then we're also going to have weathered steel panels. So basically natural steel that'll be on the building, and over time it'll naturally weather and rust and create a really authentic look that fits what our design team was going after, which was they really drew inspiration from the Reliance tipple of how do we kind of tie this terminal into some of our history while still keeping it modern, if you will. So there's some really good examples. I drove down to Salt Lake and up to Pinedale to look at some examples of that paneling, and it was really, really impressive. I think we might be one of the first in Sweetwater County, if not the first with it. So pretty exciting to have something new and different, but also tie us back to some of our origins, if you will. This will all be metal cladded, all metal panels on the outside. Our current EFIS exterior is rotting away from the glycol, the aircraft de-icing fluid. It sprays from the wind, sprays over to the terminal, and then just eats away the EFIS, so we end up having a bunch of leaks into the building, and all the metal panels that are being spec'd will be able to withstand that and not be impacted by it in the future. More elevations and more renderings, and I'm going to show you a little bit bigger renderings to make it a little bit easier. For any of you that have done architectural work or any construction, please note that you know this, but for those that you haven't, the renderings are as best as you can get in a digital world. It's not as perfect representation of what the final product will be, but the colors are there. The blues are meant to accent it a little bit. The oranges, which will be the rusted weather panels, you can't really show that on a digital image very well, but that's what those represent. So some renderings. I told you about the image earlier to kind of remember it, of the ticketing area. This is draft imagery. They're still working on refining these images, but this is the ticketing lobby. You'll notice the entryway on the left, the ticketing counters or ticket counters on the right. You'll see some gabion walls in the building, which is basically, for those of you that don't know what those are, it's metal cages with rock that's put inside those metal cages to form walls. So that's some of the architectural highlights. The floor pattern and stuff, that all is going to be a little different than what you see here. It's hard to, once again, to render that from what the actual will be, but that it shows that we will have all new tile flooring throughout the building and carpet and everything else. This is the the main hold room area. The soda machines on the right, the vending machines on the right, signify what will be a micro market. They don't have a micro market set up in CAD to be able to put it in there. But there will be a micro market there. The hold room will be able to support 160, 170 passenger aircraft, which is critical for our diversion opportunities that we have to be able to attract the weather and fuel diversions and generate landing fees and fuel sales off those. It'll also allow our everyday passengers to be able to spread out and not feel like they're sitting on top of each other like they do today. This is the baggage claim area. You'll notice a lot of glass, a lot of natural lighting. The big windows in the hold room area overlook Aspen Mountain, so you have a nice, beautiful view after you go through the checkpoint. We also are going to have a public viewing area where you're able to go and look out on the airfield from the public side. It's also going to serve as that, as well as a seating area for those waiting to go through the checkpoint. And I believe that's all the renderings I have for you today. We'll have a whole lot more in a couple weeks. Those were just some drafts that our design team sent to me over the last couple weeks, and I wanted to share those with you. The grant before you today, 4.9 and change, I think $4,906,667, if I remember my numbers correctly. And it's 100% federal. One silver lining from COVID is that 12.8 million of the federal dollars we're getting on this project are 100% federal. Congress plussed up 2020 and 2021 airport improvement funding to 100%. So that helped us throughout this process go from that 3.3 million local that we thought we were going to be at back when we were talking 6 penny down to the 1.3 million local and keep it pinned down there. If it wasn't for some of the supplemental money that we've been able to receive, we wouldn't be here having this conversation today. And that's where one last thing I'll say is 2018, I stood before you all and some of you, your predecessors, and asked for you to take a leap of faith with me, with our board, with our staff, with our design team, and said, we need to get a schematic design, we need to get a base design put together so I can have something to go sell. I need to be able to sell this to the FAA. I need to be able to sell it to the Business Council, to the Wyoming Department of Transportation. You all took that leap with me and with our board, and we, once again, would not be here today if it wasn't for that trust you had in us. And here we are. We've delivered better than I expected us to deliver, and appreciate your support, not just on this, but everything else that you have supported the airport on over the years. It's made my job much easier to be able to keep moving our airport and our community forward. So appreciate the support.
Well, you know, it's exciting over the many years of seeing that airport evolve from basically an oversized garage to what we're looking at in the renderings. We're starting to look like an airport. Just exciting stuff, and by all means, a lot of hard work to get there, and I appreciate your effort, this city council and everybody involved, your board, and all the funding members, because this really, as we've discussed before, is a key part of economic development. If we don't have a dependable and a well-structured airport, those businesses aren't going to come. So I just appreciate what you've done, and look forward to seeing this continue to grow and eventually become a full-fledged airport with maybe even water. We may get water there eventually.
Forget the extra airlines and extra destinations. If we get water,
That's right.
No, we want to get to all of that. So
yes, great job, councilors. Any questions, comments for?
I just want to say thank you for your persistence in all this too. Back, what did you say, 2017, 18, when you started talking about it, and at that point it was kind of, is this really going to happen? And it's really happening. So it's neat to see. And I kind of had to chuckle to myself. Your renderings kind of remind me of an Applebee's menu. It's a food you get. It always isn't always what it looks like on the menu. So, not to pick on Applebee's, but
Oh, there goes the hate.
I can't wait to see how it turns out. So thank you.
Well, thank you. It's honestly, I don't think the renderings do it justice for what it'll be. It'll be better than what's in the renderings. We have samples of all the finishes and everything sitting in our conference room right now. We just got full-size samples yesterday and pulled those out of the box, and we made a lot of our decisions based on samples that were about this big. And when we got the full-size samples, we're like, wow, it's even better
Cool.
in the full size. So we're really excited for that. So.
Councilor Savage?
No, thank you. Devin, has the BLM decided what type of aircraft they're going to station up at the airport?
So all of the single-engine air tankers. So it'll be the air tractors, if you will, the AT-8As, I think is what they're called, is their official model number. But they're the single-engine air tankers. They plan to utilize those full time. There's also smoke jumper operations. It's been a long day. Smoke jumper operations that are likely. Helitack operations that will be likely. Their main Helitack base is remaining in Rawlins for now. However, even last year when they were still in Rawlins, they operated heavily out of our airport. We are talking to them about LATs, the large air tankers, not the VLATs. We don't have the airfield infrastructure for the VLATs, but for the LATs, things like the DC-9s, the 737s, those mid-range sized tankers, I think that is in our future. We just need them to get kind of our operations under their belt. And once they feel more comfortable with having the base up and running for a full season, I think we start seeing that kind of operations going into future years. So we've already told them we're ready, and for those operations, they have to set up a temporary tanker system. They can't use the same one they use for the seats, but we already have picked out a location for that and isolated a ramp area where they'd be able to operate that kind of operation. If they called us tomorrow, we could be up and running as soon as they could get the equipment there. So
you think they could station a smoke jumper group there, or would it be just a as-needed temporary?
So I don't think we'll have smoke jumpers based here full time. I think it'll be one of those situations based on the national assets. So everything with NIFC, and Jim probably is way more proficient with all of this dialogue. I've learned a lot over the last year, but NIFC manages a nationwide set of assets, and they move it based on where the demand is. Not necessarily is there a fire right by the airport, but is there a fire in that region, or is there a high demand in that region? So if we have the smoke jumper crew here, let's say they have a bunch of fires up near, let's say up near Hoback Junction. They're not going to set up most likely in Jackson. They just don't have the space to set up in Jackson. They're probably going to set up here and be close by when they're needed. Or if there's a fire down near Vernal or whatever, they could set up here because we have the facilities ready for them. So it's a lot. There's not going to always be 6 aircraft, 6 seats parked there, because sometimes those assets might be needed in Idaho or in Colorado. But we're able to do 6 seats at any given time on their leasehold. We can do more if they park on our ramps. And then we can also do 2 smoke jumper aircraft. And then we can do up to 3 LATs at a time if they decide to go down that path in the future. We do take care of their super scoopers that come in and scoop off the gorge. For those of you who've seen pictures of those, when they're doing any fires in this area and using the gorge, they come to our airport. Most of the time. Sometimes they'll go to Vernal, but they do come to us on a quite frequent basis when they're taking water off the gorge. So,
and why do you think we had an increase in corporate jets this year?
A couple reasons. Number one, I've worked my tail off on marketing and reaching out to companies across the globe to secure their business. Number two, we were successful in securing a crew base for the 3rd largest aircraft operator in the world, corporate aircraft operator in the world, and they're still running that crew base today out of the airport. But that resulted in anywhere from 7 to 12 aircraft a night coming in, shuttling crews in and out. So that one company alone resulted in over $300,000 of revenue to the airport this fiscal year. They've easily become our number 1 customer above everybody else, including the airline. So, and they're coming back again. They haven't left, but they're already looking to negotiate an agreement for next winter as well. So, and we're working with several other new customers on top of our existing customers to add on to our customer portfolio for next winter.
Okay, thank you.
That is impressive. I'd like to see that. You're gonna have to build another hangar here. eventually.
If you all have 4 million laying around, I saw there was a transfer to reserves around 6 million.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But we talk about it on a regular basis. Our board and our staff, I have a plan for a 33,000 square foot hangar next to our 25,000 square foot hangar. But we don't feel we have opportunities for grant funding like we did on the first one. So it's going to be more of a situation that we'll have to look at debt service and pay our own way there. So we need to make sure and be 100% confident we have enough revenue to cover that and not just break even.
Right.
So, yeah, we talk about it. Jim, as our chairman, can attest to it. Jim asked me, are you ready to build that hangar yet? When are we going to build that hangar? And I'm the one that's actually right now, and I usually am not the one that's slow things down, but on this one, I'm like, let's bide our time and make sure we're ready for it. So,
Interesting. Any other questions, counselors?
I've got a flight on July 31st. Will it be done by then?
which part?
All of it.
All of it.
Snacks.
I can guarantee you we will have some grass mowed for you on the airfield by then.
Great.
That's good. Well, thanks, Devin. We always appreciate hearing the exciting news. We'll be taking action under Resolution 2021-78. And if there's no further questions, we're going to move on to public hearings.
Mayor, if I can real quick, just something that came out of the governor's office yesterday, his strategic plan for the relief funding. I don't know if you all have seen it, but air service is on the list for funding. So if you have conversations with him, his staff, the legislature, they have earmarked it as a possibility for leftover CARES Act money that would help cover not just the state's portion of the minimum revenue guarantee, but also potentially the local portion for up to, I think, 3 or 4 years. It's down the list, but I think if we make sure that the fact that it's on the list is positive, and we just need to make sure that they recognize the importance of it. If you think about what that would mean for your budget of opening up that, nearly 200,000, I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but nearly 200,000 a year for the next couple years, and it would buy us time to get back to good passenger numbers where that number would drop naturally anyway. So
Right.
I don't know that we need to do a full court press because I don't want to irritate them, but I think if there's an opportunity for a gentle reminder of the importance of air service to our community and our economic future, I'd take that opportunity if you get it. So
Absolutely. Thanks, Devin. Any other questions, comments? Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move on to the public hearing section of our agenda. We have 2 public hearings, the first being a public hearing for the consideration of the City of Rock Springs proposed budget for fiscal year 2021-22, which will take action under Resolution 2021-73. Is there anyone here tonight wishing to speak on this hearing? Anyone? Item number 2, public hearing for a proposed sewer use fee increase, which will take action under Resolution 2021-74. Is there anyone here tonight wishing to speak on this hearing? Anyone? Hearing none, we're going to move on to the petition section of our agenda, and I would ask anyone here tonight wishing to address the city council on any issue whatsoever, this would be your time to do so. If you would please state your name for the record and state your comments.
There we go. My name's Les Malk, United Mine Workers. I stand before you here tonight to speak to you about a little handout I put around to you all. Pretty happy about this. This deals with suicide prevention. Okay? I don't know if you remember a few council meetings ago, Shelby Gordon, Delaney Wells sat here and gave us a lot of information. Pretty disturbing information. Then some things happened in the community that hit home for me. Decided to take some action. So on June 8th, I sat with Shelby Gordon over at Sweetwater Prevention, and we come up with this ad. On June 8th, it presented to the United Mine Workers, and we're going to run this on the side of a Star bus for a period of 12 months, starting in July. Now, this is a local number, okay? We removed the national number. We want the local number out there. We want our community to know you have some help here local. Family, friends, call. See what you need to do, okay? The reason I'm standing up tonight is I'd like to ask the city council, mayor, stand with us. Do an ad of your own for 12 months on another bus, and let's get this information out there. I sat in this meeting and listened to the mayor speak. The information wasn't out there. Nobody knew what was the number? Where do we call? How do we get help? Did any of you know it? Very few. I didn't. Here's another point for you. We can help people. We're going to help our officers. We're going to help our police officers. That's one less situation they got to go into and deal with. That's pretty important. They ain't got to go home seeing that and dealing with that. Okay? Our first responders over in the fire department having to go into that situation. This is a small price to pay for a big benefit to this community. Okay? So to do this ad on the side of a bus for 12 months is $2,640. That's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap marketing to get the information out there. And as you can tell on there, they can go to Facebook or they can go to Instagram, and they get right to Shelby and Delaney, right to them. Okay? I stand before you tonight to ask the council, mayor, stand up with us. Do an ad of your own. Do this ad again. Let's get it out there. Let's get this community knowing this information. Sit here and talk about it, but you got to get it out there. That's what I had tonight. If you want other prices, there's a 3-month contract for $720. There's a 6-month contract for $1380. We chose to do a 12-month contract. Speaking with Shelby, she can do some statistics at the end of that 12 months and let us know how we did. Did we make a difference? But just sitting and talking about it don't make a difference. That is no help. One thing government should do is help their citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mock. And you know, last time, the reason that I asked that Chief Pacheco have
I didn't get one.
this group come back before the city council was after listening to the local numbers of suicides in just the city of Rock Springs concerned me, and we go away with this support with proclamation, presentation, and I asked, so what does that do? I mean, we recognize it, but what are we doing? How do we get this information out there? Do people know this information? Who do they contact? Who do we, if somebody calls, who do we tell them to call? What are we doing? And Les is exactly right. When he went away, we had some discussion about it. He went away with, well, Les's wheels were always turning, but he went away and started thinking about this, and then he presented this to me a while ago, and obviously made it happen. And I totally agree. What we wanted to do is to find something, whether it's you look at a billboard, well, you have to be driving by that billboard. if you're in need. Some people may be depressed, lost a job, who knows what their issues are, but how do they get the information to reach out for help? And Les had this idea, Star Bus. Those Star Buses are moving all over the place. They're covering ground. They're on main streets. They're picking people up. And I thought that was a great idea. And for $2,640 a year, of course, you can't put a price on a life, but city councilors, I ask that you support United Mine Workers less, and we go a year. We add a year to this. We've been through a rough year, but I think it's extremely important to get a local number out there for an individual or individuals to see, to know that if they're in a crisis and they have an issue, that they know who to call, and they don't have to drive by a billboard or look in a phone book. Or that was the biggest concern. We had all this information. I speak with the chief about it. You know what? Well, yeah, we have people out there that'll help, but maybe it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Who knows? You know, maybe how do these people get the information out there? And I think Star Bus in the many areas that they serve, a mobile billboard, if you would say, this makes really good sense. And I support the idea. Like I said, we always talk about these things, but we need to put our money where our mouth is. And for $2,600, I think this is money well spent that could save a life. And we all know it could be someone that we know personally.
Fortunately.
Yes, which Les and I discussed as well. So if the council's okay with it, I would like to take $2,640 out of our mayor council budget and extend this for another year, and or do another bus. This is a critical number, a local number that someone's going to answer.
I would suggest you do another bus. If you
Do
choose to
another
it.
bus.
I
Your
would
Honor.
You
suggest
get more
that too.
coverage.
Yeah,
You're gonna get in your residential areas. You're gonna be
Right.
there.
exactly.
And if you don't wanna do this, I'd come up with one of your own. Get with Shelby and do something different.
I like the ad because you don't want to start coming up with others, because it's all about consistency and recognition.
Oh.
I like the ad, and I think if people see it, they've seen it once, they might not need it, but they may be thinking about it, and they see it again, they might need the number now.
We had to condense it and keep it to the point. which
Right.
is critical to suicide prevention.
Correct.
First one we come up with was, I'd rather speak to you for hours than stand at your funeral for one.
Right.
That was our first iteration, but then here.
Yes, I like it.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Counselors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Robinson.
just to throw something else out there, one of the most visible things around the city is our police cars. And I know historically we've put different types of stickers and you know, mottos on the police cars. I think that these would go great on a police car. I know that the chief and command staff at the police departments worked hard throughout the city to work on mental health services for city employees. And I think that it just kind of ties things in together, because in most cases, or in many cases at least, the police department is the first on scene
Right.
when somebody's in crisis. So if the chief would be up for it, or if they can come up with something that may work along those lines, maybe just, you know, on the back window of one of the cars, something, you know, simple and inexpensive but visible.
Your
That'd be
Honor,
great to add to it.
I
That'd
would
be great.
throw in every city vehicle for that. I mean, we look at tailgates of pickup trucks and everything else. You could put a little small decal or something on there, that add on there. Those trucks are all over the place. Why not get it out as much as we can, if that's what our goal is?
Utilize them.
And one other note, I'd be happy to take them off when that time comes, so the stickers don't leave any
And no
adhesive
charge.
or, right, no charge, no charge.
Your Honor,
Chief.
I'd just like to add that we're actually in our, just completed our second day of crisis intervention team training with local law enforcement, partnering with Southwest Counseling, the hospital, and just bringing those resources together for our local law enforcement. This is a team effort, and we will be sitting down with yourself and CEO of the hospital and decision makers to really bring what you're talking about, these resources together, and to bring them to the forefront for our community, because this really is a community approach for people in crisis, because we're all one event away from being in crisis. And it's not just suicide, but it can be a traumatic event that you have in your family, or just, you know, losing a job, as Les said, those types of things. So we are moving forward on that. It's been several years in the making. I'm very happy to report that it's finally off the ground, and we hope to train all of our first responders, including communications, fire, EMS, and law enforcement.
Great. That's great news. I like the idea. I will have some discussion with Chief Pacheco about the police cars, but counselors, is everybody in favor of spending $2,600 to purchase another logo on a bus? And then Les, I'll get with you and maybe we'll make it happen. Okay, thank you, and I appreciate your work. Great idea, and very well worth it. I like to, you know, you leave these meetings and you just, okay, well, we discussed this, but what did we do? And I like to see some action take place. Councilman Savage.
Yeah, sorry. So, if someone, what happens if someone calls 352-6677 on the weekend or after hours?
The reason that
Where
we
does
did
it,
this.
where is it transferred to? Oh, so someone's there all the time. Oh.
Yeah, go ahead, Les. That was the big discussion. What happens if, I'm sorry, we close at 6?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Doesn't work.
That's what I,
Yeah,
So if you call that number on a weekend, holiday, after hours, you're gonna get to a crisis prevention specialist that's always on call. They have 6 people on call there, they rotate them. So there's always somebody there,
nice.
24/7.
I thought it'd be great in the many smartphones that we have in this nation, world for that matter, that you always get ads that pop up that you don't want, that your phone should power up with this ad.
I don't know if Shelby told you, but in 2022, they're gonna be moving to a 3-digit number, like a
Yeah.
988 or something.
Right, that's what we were talking about.
Which is a lot easier than
Yeah,
this,
something you could remember, yeah.
and it'll go local. So it'll get you
That's
to the
great.
local resource.
Great news.
Good news.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
Les.
you.
Appreciate it. Okay, still under petitions, is there anyone else here tonight wishing to address the city council on any issue? This is your time to do so. Hearing none, I'm going to close the petitions portion of our agenda and move on to the officers and staff reports. Councilors, we have item number 1, the health insurance fund recap for May 2021, and 2, the financial report summary for May 2021. I would entertain a motion to approve the officers and staff reports and place on file.
Your Honor.
Councilman Robinson?
So moved.
We do have a motion to approve them. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this is going to move us on to the council committee and board reports. Councilors, we have item number 1, the Rock Springs Historical Museum Board meeting minutes of May 12th, 2021. I would ask, are there any other council committee or board reports due or that should come before us at this time? If not, councilors, I'd entertain a motion to approve the council committee and board reports and place on file.
Your Honor.
Councilman Batolo?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve the council committee and board reports. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this is going to bring us down to the bills and claims, councilors. Item number 1, the bills and claims for June 15th, 2021. What's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve the bills and claims for June 15th, 2021.
Councilors, we do have a motion to approve the bills and claims for June 15th, 2021. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstained.
Let the record show. And item number 2, the salaries for June 7th, 2021. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve the salaries for June 7th, 2021.
We also have a motion to approve the salaries for June 7th, 2021. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, councilors, this is going to bring us to our new business item portion of the agenda. Item number 1 is the approval of a letter of cooperation regarding the Middle Baxter project to commit to long-term economic development efforts. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo?
so moved.
We do have a motion to approve this letter. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 2 is a request from the IT department for approval of quotes for FortiGate firewall hardware and cloud management systems. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor.
Councilman Halter? Why did I? Why? How did I know it was going to be? Councilman Halter?
I move to approve that request.
We do have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 3 is a request from the police department for permission to apply for the 2021 COPS hiring program grant to assist in funding 2 new positions on the city's police force. Councilors, this was a last-minute opportunity. Makes good sense. What's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus?
I make a motion to approve this request.
We do have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show no opposed. And item number 4 is a request from the Rock Springs Main Street URA to allow open containers during the Main Street Market on the South Main Block from Bank Court to C Street every Thursday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. beginning on July 8, 2021 and ending on September 9, 2021. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo.
make a motion to approve this request.
We do have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 5 is a request for a liquor catering permit from Lin Pie Incorporated, doing business as Bomber Sports Bar for the 1989 Rock Springs Class Reunion on July 30th, 2021 from 5 p.m. to midnight at the Bunning Hall. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman West?
move to approve this request.
We have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 6 is a request for a liquor catering permit from Jessa's Grill Incorporated, doing business as Gateway Liquors for the Worcester Chevrolet Car Show on July 17th, 2021 from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Whistler Chevrolet dealership. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman West?
move to approve this request.
We have a motion to approve this request. We have a second.
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Item number 7 is a request for a liquor catering permit from Jessa's Grill Incorporated, doing business as Gateway Liquors for the Whistler Chevrolet Cornhole Tournament on August 14, 2021 from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Whistler Chevrolet dealership. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo.
make a motion to approve this request.
We do have a motion to approve this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 8 is a request for 2 malt beverage permits from International Days Incorporated for International Day on July 9th, 2021 from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. and July 10th, 2021 from 10 a.m. to midnight at the Bunning Park. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus?
I make a motion to approve this request.
We do have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And item number 9 is a request from the Poorhouse for permission to extend their serving area for the 4th annual Ride for the Patch Poker Run on July 17th, 2021 from 8 a.m. to regular closing hours. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Hickerson.
I move to approve this request.
We have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And item number 10, request from Lou's Incorporated for permission to transfer their liquor license to Green River to cater the Jenner 2021 picnic on July 10th, 2021 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Expedition Island, which will require the approval from the Green River City Council. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman, was that Patolo?
make a motion to approve this request.
We do have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Councilors, this is going to move us on to the resolution section of our agenda, of which we have 11 items. First item being Resolution 2021-73.
A resolution authorizing and directing Timothy Acomo as mayor of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to accept and approve a budget submitted for the city of Rock Springs for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman West?
move to approve Resolution 2021-73.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-73. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Patolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 2, Resolution 2021-74.
A resolution setting the sewer rate for the period beginning July 1st, 2021.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo.
make a motion to approve 2021-74.
Council, we do have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-74. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Halter,
Yes.
Patolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 3, Resolution 2021-75.
A resolution amending and reenacting Resolution 8825, which declares the intention of the City Council of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to establish water rates in said city.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman West?
move to approve Resolution 2021-75.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-75. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 4, Resolution 2021-76.
A resolution authorizing Matthew L. McBurnett, the city clerk of the city of Rock Springs, to certify to the county commissioners of Sweetwater County through the county clerk the levies to be made for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-76.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-76. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 5, from the Housing Authority, Resolution 2021-77.
A resolution authorizing and directing Timothy A. Como, acting in his capacity as chairman of the Housing Board, to discharge uncollectible debts for the Rock Springs Housing Authority's project number WY003.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Savage.
move to approve Resolution 2021-77.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-77. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. And drum roll. Item number 6, Resolution 2021-78.
A resolution accepting and approving a grant agreement, Part 1, offer between the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation Administration, and the City of Rock Springs, and authorizing Timothy Acomo as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said grant agreement on behalf of said city.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman West.
move to approve Resolution 2021-78.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-78. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconds called. Roll call.
Counselor Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Go get him, Mr. Brubaker. We look forward to it. Item number 7, Resolution 2021-79.
A resolution accepting and approving a contract with Whited Floor Surfacing Company in the amount of $105,000 and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said contract on behalf of the City of Rock Springs.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Savage.
I move to approve Resolution 2021-79.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-79. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 8, Resolution 2021-80.
A resolution accepting and approving a contract between Wyoming Department of Health and the City of Rock Springs and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs to execute said contract on behalf of said city.
This is just such a great deal. I mean, this opportunity doesn't come before us too often. Maybe we can grow this program. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Savage?
I move to approve Resolution 2021-80.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-80. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 9, Resolution 2021-81.
A resolution accepting and approving a grant agreement between the State of Wyoming Department of State Parks and Cultural Resources, State Historic Preservation Office, and City of Rock Springs, and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said grant agreement on behalf of the city.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Hickerson.
I move to approve Resolution 2021-81.
Council, we do have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-81. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 10, Resolution 2021-82.
A resolution establishing a pay plan and insurance benefits for department heads and non-bargaining unit employees of the City of Rock Springs, and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the City of Rock Springs and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs to implement said pay plan and insurance benefits for the 2021-22 fiscal year.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Batolo.
make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-82.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-82. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. And item number 11, Resolution 2021-83.
A resolution accepting and approving a master customer agreement and equipment purchase and software license addendum between WatchGuard Video, Inc. and the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and authorizing Timothy Acomo as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of said city to execute said agreements on behalf of said city.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Savage.
I move to approve Resolution 2021-83.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2021-83 by T2. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Batolo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Councilors, this is going to move us on to our ordinance section of our agenda. We have one item, ordinance 2021-06, third reading, which we amended on the second. Roll call, or I'm sorry, third reading.
An ordinance amending Article 10-1, the ordinances of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, entitled Liquor License, whereas the governing body of the City of Rock Springs as the local licensing authority finds that amendments to local ordinances regarding catering permits and malt beverage permits are needed to make local ordinances consistent with state statute and to give the mayor authority to the mayor to authorize the issue of malt beverage and catering permits.
Easy
Sorry.
for you to say.
Councilors, what's your pleasure? Third reading.
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2021-06.
Council, we do have a motion to approve ordinance 2021-06. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor West,
Yes.
Hickerson,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Robinson,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Halter,
Yes.
Batolo,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Counselor, just a few announcements. First off, things are starting to happen, and I just want to remind everybody, Blues and Brews and Rods and Rails this Saturday. And one other item, in speaking with Chief Pacheco, the drive-up mobile pantry is here Saturday. Now, this is a great opportunity, and we want to make sure we get information out, because I think when it showed up last time, the truck actually left with food. So we want to make sure that everybody gets there. It's the Wyoming Food Bank of the Rockies mobile pantry truck will be in Rock Springs to provide food assistance to anyone in need. No qualifications, membership fee, or eligibility forms to complete. Food is distributed to anyone seeking supplemental food assistance. Food is distributed on a first-come, first-served basis. You just need to show up. Starts at 1 p.m. and Sweetwater County Events Complex, and make sure that you have space in your vehicle to receive your food. And Chief Pacheco, I don't know if you want to add anything
Your Honor,
there?
yeah, just point of clarification. They didn't leave with food. We just had to put food into trailers to get it to the food banks. So
Oh,
it's
gotcha,
better
okay.
if people show up to
Yes,
take that food, so we
okay,
don't have to
all right.
double handle it. So that's
Great
all I had.
opportunity, and by all means, if you're in need, this is a great opportunity to go. So this is going to be Saturday, June 19th, 1 p.m., Sweetwater County Events Complex. So please show up if you are in need. And with no further business to come before the city council, this meeting is adjourned.